Part 2 of my responding to Rolling Stone and their article on professional cuddling. So I'm going to read through some of the parts that I thought were interesting and give you my feedback on it, right? Because none of them asked me for my opinion. And so, you know what? Here, I'll give it to them. It's for free. You're welcome. All right, here we go. So, first quote. In an event that depends most entirely on physical intimacy, the topic of consent is crucial to the field's success, right? So if you're gonna be doing lots of touching, consent is crucial, super important. All right, I'll continue. Everyone should be in what Wyatt, now, who's Wyatt? Fei Wyatt, F-E-I, Wyatt. Find her on social media, follow her, she's amazing, I really like her. So everyone should be in what Wyatt calls a hell yes space. That if asked for a specific touch, the reply would be a passionate okay. Now, it can't be okay. That's not a good word for me. So I would say must be a passionate yes. Like okay is really weak, but I get it. I get the intention here. So you need to be in a hell yes space. That's what it's basically saying. So when someone asks you for touch, or really anything, if you're not a hell yes, you need to say no. All right, so I'll continue. But more importantly, if you don't want to partake, the word no should not be marred with guilt or shame. Super important. How many people here have wanted to say no to something but felt super guilty or ashamed in doing that? I mean, for reals, like here, like me telling a friend, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you're spinning out of control and becoming toxic. Like, for me to say that was super hard, right? To be able to tell people no is super difficult. So anyway, no's are really, really important. We feel guilty and we feel ashamed when we do use our no. So having these practices of our hell yes and our hell no. And what I've noticed is that in our social conversation, the protest in our news, we hear a lot of people saying no on social media and a lot of no protesting on the street. Again, it's very like, we're not okay with these things. And so for that community, my recommendation is to then get really specific on what it is you want. What is your hell yes for your life, for you? Make a list, write it down. Share it, with your family, share it with your friends, share it on social media, like share it. It's easy to say no public, like in a way that is anonymous, or you're not known or not in a personal relationship with someone. So for you all, learning what your hell yes is. And for the other people who are always saying yes to everyone and feel like they're taking care of everyone and people pleasing, find out what your no's are and getting clear on that. So anyway, I feel like everything's kind of backwards right now. I'll continue reading. So quote, that is the thing that changes the most lives. Wyatt says earlier, take the whole touch thing away. So let's say like we're in a situation, no more touch, like not cuddling or not cuddle party. Teaching people that they have a choice over their bodies, they've never seen it before. They've never experienced it. Oof. So think about this. When I ask the question to my clients, what kind of touch would you like to receive? Many of them are like, I don't know. Because they don't live down here, right? They don't know here. They know here, but they don't know what's going on. And so having people like have more autonomy with like what feels good, what's a good touch, what's healthy, what's not healthy. And then of course, getting really clear on that. Like first you gotta start here and then moving out little by little to like, oh, then, what do you want with your loved ones, right? Your partners. What do you want in your family? What are you wanting to ask for? And again, it's asking for yourself and not anyone else. So I guess this is the best thing about Cuddle Party. Cuddle Party is a lot about practicing your no's and practicing your yeses and getting a little bit clearer on your yes and your no in life. Oof. And finding that this is for you. So I'm not saying yes or no for someone else, right? A lot of our protests right now are about, what I'm hearing is people saying they gotta go. This is, like a lot of looking at other people and wanting them to do things, which I see there's a completely valid point in that. But I think also it's equally important, if not more important, to get really clear on what do you want and begin to, with your community, asking for that as a part of this collective change that we need in our world. There you go, I said that part. Next part, and this goes into the next quote that I read that was in the article. The work is actually political now, said Marcia Pasinski, who is the creator of Cuddle Party. And she also does Cuddle Sanctuary out of LA. And I think it is political. I think it's political when you start getting people asking for what they want and saying no and saying yes to what they do want. Like, that is wildly political for us to begin to start talking. And I think, if anything, this election has done is it's brought out a lot of the truth, right? Like what people have been feeling for a long time. So, okay, now you said your piece. Now let's get clear. What do you want? What is it you need to be safe? What is it that you need to like live in this world and be free, right? And be an American. Be an American, like our values. What does that look like? What do you need for yourself? And I think that is wildly political. Yay. All right. So moving on to the next part. I'm gonna take this piece of paper off. And again, so actually there's one last part. It says here, as executive orders, next quote, cabinet appointments, abuse of power, and other signs of political unrest sweep the nation, there's a sense of unease brewing in many. They are turning to alternative forms of care to alleviate these fears. I don't know. I thought that was a little, that's not what I see with my clients. Maybe they may have those senses, those feelings. But the clients that see me, they don't say, oh, politics are so rough, I need a cuddling session. People that come to the Cuddle Party, it's not because, unless I maybe lived in like DC or something, I could see that being a thing. But like in South Texas, which by the way, I'm Janet Trevino in South Texas, in San Antonio, Texas. What people see me is because they feel lost in their world, in their jobs, and they feel unseen at home. That's it. And I do wonder sometimes if it's not because of that sense that people act out publicly, looking to control our society and our nation, because at home, they're unseen, untouched. At work, they're underappreciated and they experience loss. Or maybe they're not working. And so the things, when we have things that are close by us that we can't control and we feel miserable, we externalize, we go out, try to control other people. That's when people tell me they come to see me because they feel lost, they feel stressed, it's overwhelming, and they have tried everything else and they can't fix it. And what they really wanted and needed was to be found, to be seen and heard, and to know that they're worthy of someone's attention. And I love giving it to them because each person is amazing, no matter what. The people that I meet are just tremendous. So I don't think it's the executive orders and I don't think it's the political unrest. It's what's happening inside and at home. So next quote, the last one. The tools one learns in both workshop and one-on-one situation translate into life outside the cuddle space. The practice of asking for what you want, asking for what you want. Being prepared to hear no. Are you okay with hearing no? If you were to ask me for a hug and I said no, how would you experience that? Okay, so it's being prepared to hear that. And more importantly, turning down offers you don't want are crucial in both cuddles and in life. It leaves participants and facilitators feeling empowered and like they have a choice over their bodies and livelihoods, especially in a time when so much can seem out of the average person's control. So those three things, right? Like, and this is not just in a session. People experience sessions and they have these revelations. They're like, oh, so you mean I could have asked for what I wanted from my spouse? I'm like, yeah, I could. You mean I can ask for what I want at work? I'm like, yeah, you can ask. And then what if I get no, I don't like rejection. Well, let's work on that, right? No is not really scary. It's actually really great information. No is good. Those are great. And lastly, being able to hear a no and also give a no, right? When there's things that you don't want in life. And I think what this brings up for me is the difference between fragility and resilience. And this is really, really important. People that have lived a bubbled life, privileged, and I'm not talking about like, there's tons of different areas. I mean, I am an able-bodied person, so I carry a lot of privilege around being able to use my legs and walk in this world. So all of us have some level of privilege in some way. And so when we receive criticism, or when someone tells us that we are abusing our privilege, that's like someone telling us it's not okay. They're asking for what they want, and they're basically telling me no. And if you are that kind of person, and sometimes it happens to me too, right? Where I become very fragile and I cry and I make it about me and like, oh, poor me. I do that in my relationship at times, when my partner tells me things like, I didn't like what you did. So I'm like, but me and my feelings. So I have moments of fragility as well, and we all do. And so I think it's really important to see when we are struggling with someone telling us something that we don't like, when we feel uncomfortable, when they tell us no. And in a cuddle party and in a cuddle session, those come up. You're gonna hear no, for sure at a cuddle party, because we practice it. But in one-on-one, you may hear no from me, right? There's things that I'm not okay with, and we can practice that if you wanna also make it an artificial thing. And in learning to hear no, learning to say no, being part of this like human experience, you build resilience. Resilience is everything. Makes you a lot stronger at work, being able to handle these kind of interactions. It makes you stronger in your family, and you're able to say yes more. When you can say no often and hear no often, you're able to be really clear with your yes and becoming more resilient. Yay. And so I would say the people that have the least privilege in our society are one of the most resilient people in our society. Why is that? Because they're constantly being told, no, you don't fit in, you're not good enough, you don't have enough money or power, or you're not welcome here. And if your entire life and all your parents and your grandparents and everyone in your circle has been hearing no, you have some pretty damn great resilience, and we need you. We need you to continue, like, to show us this resilience so that we can also watch you and learn, how to be resilient in the same way. Okay, all right, that's my feedback from the article. Thank you all for watching. I'll be posting more videos again. I'm starting up again my video series, and again, I'm Janet Trevino in San Antonio, Texas. I love you all so much. Thank you. Bye.